if you can just say if there was like Austin Powers like moly, like they had like a big old mole, like you couldn't do it with a big old mole. But there's gotta be something. There's gotta be something. Is it they have a hunchback? Are they Quasimodo? Like what is the thing that you're like, nope, can't do it? We all have it.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. The conversation patterns always seem to piss me off at first. Like that's how I know it's gonna not work. But I don't know. Paul, what are yours? Because I honestly don't know.
You're asking me?
I'm gonna go now. I tell you what, I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna go to every circus I can find, and I'm gonna find every dude that has a weird thing, and I'm gonna bring them by. And my test for them is gonna have to be great conversations, and then we're gonna find out.
Okay.
We're gonna search it out. I'm gonna start.
On episode 947 of Danny Tries to Get Lauren a Date.
I am going to do it. I have faith in my ability.
Oh God.
I was trying to narrow it down. That's why you're not trying to let me know. But now you won't give me a clear you can't have a mole nose. Like, all right, cool. I could lock those guys out. Now I know that you don't mind what the fellow looks like. He could be not attractive.
I mean, I've dated people that I don't think are very cute, but like the personality was great. I've also dated people who are shorter than me.
Oh my god, I would be so fucking depressed. If my girl told me she didn't think I was cute.
Oh no, I told them that.
I fucking depressed.
I had that conversation not with them, but with my sister after I ended things.
Oh my god.
You didn't think the dude was cute at all?
I mean, he was cute in his own, but not like conventionally attractive.
Conventionally attractive. Alright, okay. Define conventionally attractive.
Like he didn't have a face that like features are normal. Attractive. Like cheekbones, chisel. No, I didn't say he didn't have facial features that people think.
She was dating a Game of Thrones character.
He had an Elmer beard.
Yeah.
Good thing he has headphones on this poor chap's.
I can't believe my yeah. Oh, so you got the product. I thought you were talking about that.
Yeah, sorry. For those that are watching now, we're finally live.
Finally live.
You get to see a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff.
So
we're working out streaming and all this mess, and I thought it was set, but apparently it wasn't set. So that's okay.
That's okay.
We're working on it.
Well, what happened is our backup. That guy decided that he shouldn't help us, and he wanted to go get coffee.
No. In his defense, I asked him to go get coffee.
Yes, but it's also Elmer, and he works banker hours.
I give no defense.
Anyway, so back to your faceless man.
Back to what are your non-negotiables?
I mean, does it count anymore?
Yeah, it counts.
Yeah,
what are you talking about? Does it count? What?
Why wouldn't it count? Danny has his non-negotiables. He's married.
Oh boy. Let's see.
Listen, man. Something could happen, bro. Like you could be back on the market at any moment, man. You know what I'm saying? Like all of a sudden,
building the bench.
You could be like, you could wake up and be like, I would go. You gotta build the bench. You gotta build the bench.
In case something happens.
Something happens. What if all of a sudden, God forbid, I hope it doesn't happen, but could you imagine if all of a sudden wives are walking along, big ass fucking meteorite, well, small one because we're not gonna wipe out the population because we need our bench.
That's right.
But a fucking small meteorite comes in, size of a dime, hits her in the head. She dead. You ain't got her no more. You need somebody else. You can't face this world alone. Are you going to raise a son by yourself? No. The son needs a mama's touch. Needs to be able to have a hug. I'm not saying that he would replace her as the mom. I'm just saying that he would be a good substitute. Now, in the substitute situation, who's not going to be the teacher in your world?
I don't know. Let's see. Non-negotiables.
I'll tell you,
I don't mind
flat ass. I can't have two flat ass
yes.
people in a relationship.
I agree.
I know that's hypocritical. I got no ass, but if I can't date a woman with no ass. It's impossible. I'm sure there's sweet people.
I'm a short person. I'm not the tallest person.
I don't want a short man.
Yeah, I don't mind tall people. I honestly don't. So like the height thing isn't really unless you're like Amazonian tall, like
6 foot.
Like like Amazonian.
Let me tell you. Remind me to tell you a story after this about your tall chick.
Okay. So they can't be Amazonian tall, but if they're taller than me, it's
but stop it. Well, dudes always be like, yo, they can't be Amazonian.
Now,
but if Gail Goddard walked in, Wonder Woman herself, your ass would drop to the ground, have a heart attack. You pray she give you my mouth. She does that little tongue thing.
I'll tell you.
God, Wonder Woman.
I'll tell you a fun story. So I used to work for Apple for 5 years, and I was a trainer. So one of my clients came in, or I had a new client. It was a new client day. Related to all this, by the way. so she, the person that does all the appointment scheduling, they're like, all right, you have a new client. Linda's coming in, wants to learn how to do Photoshop and stuff because I love Photoshop. It's like, all right, cool, I got you. I'll help her out, whatever. What time should she do? Oh, I should do it this time. So I come out. I would always get there 10 minutes before, get ready, start calling names. Hey, Linda, and I forget what the last name was. And I was like, okay, not there. Then I see this lady come in, tall woman, older tall woman walk in. I was like, she looks really familiar. And she starts getting closer and closer. It's Linda Carter.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I had such a crush on that lady, bro.
Linda Carter, the original Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
She got closer.
Spin around.
She got closer.
Just rub on the computer.
Yeah, I was about to say that she might be on flying.
She got closer and closer, and I was like, this is Linda Carter. And I didn't realize that she's a tall
She
woman.
played Wonder Woman,
Yeah,
bro.
but she's a tall woman. And what freaked me out is I just seen her on Law and Order, like a couple weeks before. This is how long ago it was. Because she did a spot on Law and Order where she played a crazy wife that killed all of her husbands.
Yeah.
And then after
I think there's a lot of them.
yes. She became one of my best clients.
Oh, I thought you'd already say best friend. I was like, why is
gave,
she not the
She
house?
gave me a Christmas gift and all that stuff.
You got a Christmas gift from
Yeah.
Wonder Woman?
Yeah. And then she bought a computer for her son, who at the time was going to
Bro.
college. And she's like, I just need the best for my baby. And I was like, okay.
I'll be I'll be your baby.
Like, I'm glad
said,
you said that.
well,
I need some things.
Then I said, well, okay, here's a MacBook Pro. No, I need something bigger. So
Bigger.
She bought like a Mac Pro.
Things you never want to hear from a woman.
Right.
Here we go.
Yeah, and she bought two of the, Apple used to sell these 30-inch displays that cost $2,500 a pop. She bought two of those. She bought a big computer, a printer, got her an iPod. That's when iPods were still a thing. Took it to her car, and she's like, oh yeah, can you help me take it to the car? Yeah, I got you. And I wasn't sales, but she wanted me to sell her the computer. I was like, all right, cool. So I sold her the computer, took it to her car. It was a BMW 750 or whatever the biggest one is, the couch on wheels. And I was like, so do you want to put this in the trunk? She goes, no, it doesn't fit in the trunk. You have to put it in the back seat because I have my mountain bike back there. She kept a muddy ass mountain bike in the back of this BMW. She goes, yeah, I know it's dirty. I got to go get it cleaned and stuff. And I'm sitting here thinking at the time, driving my little Jetta, and I was like, I don't want to get my Jetta dirty. She's got mud all over in the back seat. She doesn't care.
Linda Carter, what a babe.
Best person ever.
What's crazy though is you wonder, like, one of the things that I love about, I like learning about, what I call cool celebrities. Cool celebrities to me are people that took their 5 minutes of fame and really made it into like other businesses. Because listen, there's no way in hell she's balling on the Wonder Woman budget from back in the 80s, right? So she's had to leverage that in other ways. You know, like Kenny Rogers, for example. Kenny Rogers was a nationally a world-ranked tennis player. He friggin' had all these other businesses.
Kenny Rogers, the singer?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
No one to hold them and
oh my God! If you look up the things that Kenny Rogers did, I mean his achievement list is amazing, just amazing. But you you look at people like him. You look at people like Dolly Parton, who goes and turns.
I love Dolly,
and she's like, Dolly's cool as shit. She's like, I'm gonna look young as long as they can make me. I was like, I feel you, boo.
She did an interview.
It is weird though.
She did an interview, and she was like. She's like, I go to bed. I redo my makeup every night. I go to bed because God forbid there's a fire. If the firemen come in here, they need to know this is me. So she goes to bed full hair, makeup, wig. Just like.
Sounds like the ladies at One Life. What?
I saw this meme and they were talking about what did you do during quarantine, this, that, and the other. Someone's like, no one can talk shit on Dolly Parton. She funded a vaccine, put out a Christmas special, and a full Christmas album.
Play around, bro.
I haven't seen the documentary yet. I heard it was good though.
Yeah, I heard it was good.
There's a doc on her?
On Netflix.
I didn't know that.
She's insane.
She's a badass, bro. She's
Yeah,
working 9 to 5.
Coat of many colors.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I saw her on the CMT Awards. Yes, I saw the CMT Awards.
I would watch this. Listen, I love music awards. I know Eric Church. He just won Entertainer of the Year finally. He's the man. And you look again. You talk about entertainment and like guys that I have a ton of respect for. You know, when you look at, regardless, and I'm not going to delve into the political side of the house, but when you see somebody like Chris Stapleton, right, where he came out and said, you know, what he said in favor of Black Lives Matters. And I see somebody like that, and then I stack that up against somebody like Demi Lovato, who said, if I lose my career for this stance, like, no, Demi, everyone that listens to you thinks that what you're saying is true, right?
Echo chamber.
Yeah, it's an echo chamber. So you're not really taking a major stand.
Demi Lovato's a blue belt.
She's a hot belt, but anyway, she's wrong here, but you can be hot and wrong. See, this is what people don't understand. Like, I can like you and still say you're wrong, and I can absolutely hate you and say you're right. It's a crazy fucking concept, but a lot of folks can't do that shit anymore, right? But she didn't really risk her career. Chris Stapleton, for Eric Church to come out on the CMA Awards and sing this, put that in your country song, like, and the way that he did it, you know, if for the people that haven't watched it, maybe something for us to share on page, especially the full verbiage of it. You know, he and I don't think you listen to country, Lauren, but
not as much as I used to, but I do.
Eric's the man. You just can't go wrong with anything Eric Church does. But you know, he leads off with, and I thought it was so poignant. He leads off with Johnny Cash's old Ragged Flag, and that leads into his put it in a country song, right? And he talks about Baltimore and what goes on there and why people are getting, you know, why the drugs and stuff there. What are teachers facing? And the whole point of it is put that in your country song and take that to #1, right? And so for people to sit down there and take those type of stances, you know, I believe it's important. I believe at some point in time, you know, we go back to this thing that we're doing right now, Bear the Burden, is I've had several folks come up and say, hey man, thank you for taking a stand. And at some point in time, and someone has to be willing, right? Yeah. And I think what has happened in today's society, and this is why I think that Bear the Burden is growing as fast as it is because I believe people, I don't believe people are afraid of the government. I believe people are afraid of people.
Yes.
I believe people are afraid of, especially now that we have the setup where people will go and talk shit and shame you to pieces, right? People are afraid of those people. People are afraid of the court of public opinion. Government be damned. But the government is, in their insidious, devious ass way, they use that, right? And that's how they keep people quiet and keep people from rising up. But man, there are tons of people out there who feel like you feel. And sometimes, you know, you have to, I shared this quote and I never knew, and I was actually so glad I shared this because I never knew that scene from Civil War with Captain America, I never knew that was a bastardized Mark Twain quote. Did you see the quote when I put it up?
Yeah,
it was
a Captain America.
Yeah, but the actual full quote from Mark Twain is it's beautiful, right? And they said that, and I'm going to paraphrase it a little bit, but he said, every man and woman must come to the decision for his and herself on what is right and what is wrong. And you have to stand up, even if everybody else in the entire world says that you are wrong, but you believe that is right. You have to stand up and you have to stay your peace. And that's how you go to bed with peace, man. You know, and there are people out there that, you know, don't agree with what I stand for. And I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. I don't think they're bad people. I don't think they're horrible. I don't think we should go out and, you know, castrate them or hang them up against the wall. They just have a different worldview, and I can respect that. But what I can't do, I can respect your worldview, right? I can respect that people, here's where I draw the line, right? And I'm going to use a local reference. I ran against Kai Hagan, and Kai beat both Phil Dacey and I lost by 304 votes. I'm still pissed at myself for that. I do attribute it a lot to the politics of the land at the time. But I don't think Kai is a bad person, right? I believe that he genuinely believes what he believes. But what scares me about what people will do, where I think they cross the line, is when he goes, if I had my way, I would send officials to county employees' houses to see what they're doing in their house. Yeah. You don't have any right to come to my house. Don't knock on the fucking door. Don't ask to be over. You don't have that right. So when people talk about, I think a lot of times we've become so insulated in this country, in America, from the thought of true, and please follow where I'm going because I can see how this could be termed, true oppression, right? True oppression. What do I mean by true oppression? Are there oppressive policies in America? Yes. Are there systems in place that need to be revamped and worked? Yes. But we do not have true oppression. True oppression is there's one person that's in charge and they are absolutely sending Gestapos in. They're absolutely coming into your house. They're removing all due process. We don't have that. The problem with that is I don't believe that people in America believe that you can get that. And yes, you can. Just as easily, and you just chip away at it, right? And this is something that's been done on all sides. Republicans have done it. Democrats have done it. George Bush, who I actually liked as a president, despite what other people may say about him, I thought he was a fucking good guy, man. I'm not gonna lie, right? He wasn't the best speech giver, but hey, whatever. But he overstepped his bounds, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And again, it's like I said, under the guise of your protection, right? Yeah. The stuff the wiretaps that took place under his administration, the overreach that happened in there, no, mm-hmm. Right? Not for that side of the house. One of the worst things that I think in the first debate, I actually remember watching the first debate with Trump and Hillary. And I was going through the debate and I said, oh, okay, well, I think, and it's been years ago, so I can't remember all of it, but there was one part that stuck out to me in particular. I thought Trump was actually doing well in the debate. And then he said some shit that I'm like, no. Yeah. He talked about stop and frisk. Yeah. Absolutely not. Right. And don't tell me the success of that of that policy and that procedure. I don't give a shit. I want to make sure this is clear to everybody out there. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit if it keeps me from getting killed. That is not freedom in no way, shape, or form. The government does not have the right to just stop me or anybody else on the street and ask to check me out for shit. That's right. Right? So that's when I sit down there and I see these type of things happen, and people are like, well, it could never happen here. And if I were to say there's one defining characteristic that I think at least from what I've seen, I think that the far right and both, I don't like either extreme, but if there's one benefit I see that the far right has over the far left is they don't have the desire to, I haven't seen the level of shaming if you don't agree with me. What I mean by that is, if you don't, we'll use a divide and Trump thing. If you supported Trump, you were a racist, right? But no one universally applied if you supported Biden, you were a pedophile, right? So that's my thing. It's like you can't get to a point, and people don't see it. If I get to a point where if you disagree with me, you're bad, you need to be, you talk about the people that have tweeted that we should keep everybody that voted for Trump's name in the list. What? No, we don't make fucking lists in America, right? It's just like the fairgrounds. The county asked them to give the name of everybody that's doing a cleaning station. No, you don't need that business. I have a cleaning crew. That's what I got, right? So my understanding of history It's never been a good thing. The only, you know who should keep a list?
Santa.
Fucking Santa. That's who should keep a list, right? Other than that, no one else has a list. And so that's the stuff that again concerns me and scares me about it. I really do believe, I know not everybody likes Reagan, but I do believe what he said here is true. Freedom is just one generation away of being gone. And I think everybody has to, I think people have to care about that. And for me, that's the big thing that I want to see, is that we get back to a point where, and I don't know how we get there, and this was one of the things they talked about in that article, is that we have, part of our problem and part of the reason we're having such difficulty with this virus is that in America especially, but really all first world countries, we have reached an accustomed level of comfort, right? And that accustomed level of comfort, that accustomed level of protection, that accustomed belief that science is going to save us at all times, right? That makes us like not want to take risk anymore. And that's why so many people are like, yo, shut it down, lock it down, bro.
Do you foresee, because some people say the writing's on the wall already, but do you foresee gyms closing again?
Yes, I do. I foresee, in particular, the gym industry. So if you look at, and I don't know her name, but she's one of the senior advisors for Biden, she came out and said, and I give these guys credit for this. They said, which I think more people should admit this, the first lockdown was a major mistake. It was a major mistake. I was for, hey, you 14 days, I'll give you that. Let's do to flatten the curve. A big thing that I think that's happened, they talked about this in the synopsis of the book that I was reading, was that you cannot, when dealing with the public in a pandemic, you cannot sugarcoat it. You cannot make it look like rosy red glasses. And this is where I think the government made a mistake. I think that the government knew from the very beginning that it wasn't going to be a 14-day shutdown. And what they attempted to do was put it's like a lobster in a slow boil, right? I think frogs do it too. Like you put them in the slow boil, they don't even realize they're getting cooked, right? It was like to slowly start chipping away. We're going to start doing restrictions, and then we're going to go ahead and put the actual closer down. And, I try my best to not Monday morning quarterback things. But sometimes I believe that you do have to look at the game film and you have to go, this was a fuck up, okay? As much as I love America, I think one of our big issues that we have here is that because we are the United States, right? And keep in mind, we have states that are the size of countries, right? Texas is big as, covers
Alaska.
Texas covers almost all of Europe. I mean, I think there's very little.
And Alaska's bigger than Texas.
Yeah.
Like, Alaska's huge.
Yeah. So it's a huge landmass, right? So when you talk about the United States, governing any type of mass of that size is a Herculean effort at best, right? The other side of it is that because the way that we're set up, being the United States, because we have the federal powers and we have the state powers, and then you can start getting down to county and municipalities, as much as I'm a fan of decentralized command, if you were fighting a pandemic and you were genuinely trying to fight this pandemic, right, it had to all shut down. We knew it was coming back last year, last November, December. I know definitely by December, they were starting to talk about, this shit is going to come, right? And then I think it started here in Washington. I believe it was Washington State is where it came in. Either Washington or Oregon, I think, is where it started.
Washington.
I think
Right?
it was
Because they
Washington.
had that quarantine town.
Yes.
I forgot all about that.
Yeah,
Right?
seems like a lifetime ago.
It's like that movie Outbreak.
Yeah. So we knew, motherfuckers, we knew then that it was coming, right? If you were going to lock us down, and I understand a counter argument to this. A counter argument to this is we couldn't lock everybody down because when the virus was nowhere out, people wouldn't have locked down. Cool. That dog hunts. I'm not going to debate that. But if you really were going to stop it, you would have done the lockdown then. Okay? But then we started doing state by state lockdown. People are traveling across state lines back and forth, right? Families are visiting, businesses being conducted. Then we get to the fucking point where we literally, Bristol, Virginia, and Bristol, Tennessee, the fucking road splits the state line. So half of the road, you cross the street and you're literally in a different state. At that one point in time, Bristol, I believe it was Virginia, had a lockdown. Tennessee did not, or I might have it backwards, but one of the ways they did it. So you could literally be locked down, but if you cross the street, you were not locked down. If you don't, when that is happening, what one entity is doing is pointless. It's the same shit when we talk about Frederick and Montgomery County.
Yeah.
It is pointless that those two counties have different rules. The only benefit to it is that I really do believe, I'm not going to think it, I'm not attacking this person personally. I'm sure he's a nice person, but he's a communist. I don't give a shit. The Earl Act is a communist. He is. He believes in that side of the house. He's elected. I'm not attacking him. I'm attacking his platform. He's a communist.
I was
right?
attacking the band.
So you sit down there and you have the extreme oppressive restrictions that they do there. But again, that is all for nothing because you're going to go, the people that work in Montgomery County, where do they go? They don't live in Montgomery County because they're communists and they charge so much for everything. You cannot afford to live. Why did I leave Montgomery County? Because I could not afford to live there on a firefighter salary.
Yep.
That's why I moved to Frederick. Truth be told, I originally didn't want to move to Frederick, even though I love Frederick now. At first, I didn't want to come here. I was like Fred Neck. I was still going out to D.C., partying, hollering, hey, girl. I was having time of life, right?
Hey, girl.
Right? Wait,
I'm so glad that was caught on the live because a little head swivel was cute. Hey, girl. You got a bobblehead. Hey, girl.
There was a time in my life I could say hi with the best of them. I tell you that right now. But anyway, I digress.
Sorry, digressing even further. I wish we could just safely, without any repercussion from other people, just, go back in time just to see all of this.
You don't want to go back in time.
I just want to go out.
Yes.
You go back in time, that people would change their opinion. Let's not do that. Let's stay with
you haven't heard my story.
Let's stay here. But that's why it doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because these people are free falling all across the side of the house. And respectfully, you are not telling me what I'm doing on Thanksgiving. You are going to have to show up at my house with more guns and more people than I got to tell me what I'm going to do and who I'm going to eat fucking turkey with. It ain't happening, Captain. Period.
I, being very careful, I understand that there are certain people out there who find it difficult to know what they are supposed to do and how much they're supposed to speak given the attention that is being given to particular folks. I know I'm being very vague, but I have to be. And it scares me when I hear county council people talking that way and, they say they didn't mean it that way, but words were said and it's out there in the public. Because what is that? You've let the cat out of the bag. It's almost like when you drink and you say something too much. Oh, I was drunk. Yeah, you said it. It's rooted in some truth there, whether or not you want to admit it. And that's kind of what happened in this county council meeting. If anybody hasn't seen it, if you live in Frederick County, you can Google it. It's very easy to find, and it's scary. It's scary that is the mindset of certain folks, whether or not they meant it as satire or, kind of out of anger or emotion. You said it. And you can't take that back at this point. And that concerns me because I don't want to live like I have to look over my shoulder. That's not living at all to me. I don't want to live, in fear of, if I do something as, I'm just going to do it. If I do something as simple as going to the gym, which is healthy, it's my stress relief, it's my mental stability. This is where I see my best friends. I'm not doing any harm. I don't want to live in a way that says, hey, if I go to the gym today, I might get reported. Mm-hmm. That's stupid. That's not life for me. It really isn't. And if that's a suspendable offense or a terminal offense, I don't know what to tell you.
What's more important though on that side of the house, and this is if given the opportunity for public comment at the Board of Health hearing on Tuesday night, what's more important about this is that they're going off, and listen, I am the biggest, hey, you want to scream, you can't have it both ways. You can't scream, listen to the science, and then go with your feelings, right? And there's multiple studies out there that show out of 49.4 million check-ins to over 2,874 health clubs over I think it's a 6-month span. We're talking about a statistical irrelevancy of 0.002% of the population of COVID cases coming out of those gyms, right? And when we look at what's happening, and I've talked to people about this all the time, and is that the COVID-19 is not just the version of the virus, it's the amount of pounds the average person has gained sitting at the house, right? And that shit kills you. Like, is it somehow better because it is a slower death, right? And this is the aspects of things that I think people are looking at. The mental health. I have a chart out there that shows that in March, people's reporting mental health issues, 32% of the population. It's over 50%. It's 52, 53% of the population is reporting mental distress from this. Diseases of despair. We're talking about alcoholism, drug addiction, suicidal ideation. They're through the roof, right? And we continue, the people that continue to advocate for closures and further restrictions, they all, again, they do it under the guise of compassion. And my thing is this. If you don't feel safe going outside, this is where we talk about the freedom of choice. If you don't feel safe going outside, you literally, in this country today, have the ability to never leave your house. You have that ability. You can have your groceries delivered. You can have your food delivered. That you do not have to leave your house. If you have the financial wherewithal to be able to place orders for goods and services, the shit is dropped off. You don't even have to interact with people, right?
It's the best.
So when we sit here and talk about people being safe, if you are high risk, isolate.
Right.
Isolate. And again, folks don't. I'm gonna look it up so I get the actual definition of it. Right. Quarantine: a state or period or place of isolation in which people or animals that arrive from somewhere else have been exposed to an infectious or contagious disease or place. Imposed isolation on a person, animal, or place put in quarantine. And quarantine is done to sick people.
Right.
You do not quarantine healthy people, right? And we get to the point now, I forget which state it was or which governor it was, but we get to the point now where he's like, yo, imagine everybody is infectious.
You talking about Gavin Newsom?
Maybe
California?
it was. Yeah, I think it was him, right?
Yeah.
Like, listen to me, guy. Again, is COVID-19 real? Yes. Is COVID-19 killing a significant amount of people? Yes. It still has a 99% survival rate, right?
It does jack your system up, though, from what I understand.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have long term.
And we're not going to know what those long-term things are until, guess what? The long-term.
Right.
But you know what else has fucking long-term repercussions? Burn pits. And we ain't gave a shit about sending a soldier over there.
Right.
And let me, because we're about out of time, let me close out on this. Let me close out on the hypocrisy. Let me close out on the arrogance of the middle class in this country that fails to see that not only are they killing their own class and status, because as we look at it, Walmart posted $5 billion in profits over over what they were expecting. They are the top 4. They are in the top 4 in every state for SNAP and Medicaid recipients, right? The American small business, by far and large, did I have minimum wage staff? I did. But guess what? I don't have anymore. I don't have minimum wage staff. You know why? Because I don't have that staff in that position anymore.
Right.
Because COVID killed me, right? But every one of my positions that had additional training, had additional talents, all of them make far above minimum wage, right? So by far and large, your small business owner is paying a livable wage, right? And so you sit down here and you look at that. When you start to kill all of those guys and girls that are doing that, what is that going to do for you? But where I think people misrepresent their sainthood, right? All of these people, and I thought the fucking arrogance of it, it bothers me. It still bothers me. All of these people that sat on their high horse, right, and screamed, "Stay home," past the 14 days. And I said stay home the first 14 days, and even at that point in time, right? But one of the things that I did was I always made sure to tip as well as I could the people that came. But the arrogance of those people, you should stay at home. The fucking arrogance to call themselves a hero for staying at home, while you ensured that all of the people that couldn't fucking afford to stay at home, we risked, if it was that deadly, we risked them. We risked the food delivery guy. We risked the grocery store clerk. We risked all of these people who, if they got the virus, if they got the virus, if they got sick, who in this country did not have the wherewithal and the financial backing to pay for the procedures that they would need to take care of themselves?
Yeah.
Do you think that if that food delivery driver, do you think if he or she got COVID-19, that person, that the company that was heading them out was going to cover that person's hospital bills? Fuck no. So don't sit here and tell me how you are a hero for staying home when you willfully let someone else put their life on the line because they were below you in economic status and you thought that shit was okay. So get off your high horse. You're full of shit.
We need a church organ.
Well, 100% agree. It's the people who are on the lower income tier of this had no choice.
That's right.
And because we are in a gym setting, sick people don't go to gyms. So the people here, people who are in this industry, we are not the ones passing it.
Right.
We're not the ones getting it. Yeah, sure, a couple people, but
but
it's not coming out of here.
Yeah.
Right? And at the end of the day, if you are upset at small business for operating to keep people fed, to keep people's bills paid, so they can continue to support the economy by buying a house, by having a life, by doing all the things that people are supposed to do, why are you not bitching at Walmart, at Target, at Home Depot, at Lowe's? You are not, I'm sorry, Lowe's was packed every weekend of shutdown or every day of shutdown.
I drove past Costco the other day and I was like,
booming.
whoa.
And if they're putting up that kind of profit, listen.
And when you sit down and look at it, if the closure ever does come, I'm going to go do a live video from Home Depot, Lowe's,
and Walmart,
and be like, where's we're at. But guys, as we come to the end, man, every week we're going to start going live over on the YouTube page. So make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe so you get those notifications.
Look at that.
Make sure you guys continue to follow, share it out. If you got something out of today's talk, man, share it out with somebody. If you think we're full of shit, let us know. We appreciate the comments either way you look at it. As always, fam, remember, the dream's not dead.